Even on. We're going to hit it again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the number one most valuable real estate community in existence. Super excited. Thank you all for joining us today for compound interest. We're getting 1% better each day. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, got to come and join us on the Discord. It's a free Discord community where you can tap in and instantly be in proximity with people that are doing multiple 6 and 7 figures in their real estate businesses. You can find your next JV partner, private money lender, or real estate agent, or wholesaler if you're a flipper, all here on the Discord. Absolutely free. We are about to get started. I'm going to bring it on over to the live stream channel here on the YouTube. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing this morning? We got over 10 people joining us off the rip today. Hopefully everybody's off to a great start today on this beautiful Tuesday. We are getting started here. Now is your chance to join a 7-figure mastermind and learn from the best. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to kick it off with some high energy today. And the first thing I'm going to share is just number one, how crazy the day can get when you get distracted. You can even start the day off early, but if you don't utilize your time the right way, all that advantage can go right out the window. Still hit our goals today, still hit the gym today. We're ready to go, just slightly behind schedule. Slightly behind schedule. How's everybody doing today? We got over 10 people joining us right now. Definitely let us know, ladies and gentlemen, in that side chat where everybody is joining us from. What markets are you actively working in, and what do you do there? Adam, Kevin, Cassie, Hafa, Isaiah, good morning. Vincent, Victor, Hassam, good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing today? Good morning. We got people waking up today. Austin, Texas. Hemnos Homes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning. Hope everybody is having a fantastic morning this morning. Real Rich Estate, doing great. Houston, Texas. Phenomenal. These are the people you want to tap in with, ladies and gentlemen. The people that are showing up and actively participating, letting people know where they're at. Adam's feeling the abundance this morning. Let us know, Adam, what's got you feeling the abundance this morning? Something telling me maybe he's wrapping up some projects here. He's getting ready to start a new chapter. This is exciting for you, man. The abundance is in the air. Mindset. Yep. Got to maintain it. Good morning, Rush. Good morning. Good to see everybody. Sean, good morning. Good to see everybody. How we all doing today? We got Mr. Jacob in the building. Good to see everybody. How many of us are excited? Achiever's asking, is this audio, video, or just audio? This is video. You should be able to see me. If you can't, try to rejoin. Good morning, Sean. Good morning, Jacob. Good morning. This serves as a great opportunity to just get in proximity with people that are actively getting after it each and every single day, to remind yourself you're not going at this alone. You got people in your corner that are actively going and pursuing these deals, closing these deals. If anybody's got something that they want to review, if anybody has any questions, definitely take advantage of this time. Tap into the wealth of knowledge that's joining us in this room. We want to help the people that show up to these calls become real closers and revolutionaries in their respective businesses. Today I'm going to hop on a call with a mobile home park and RV park wholesaler. We're going to walk through some numbers. I'd be happy to see if we could do that call on here if you guys are interested to see, what that call looks like. I'm sure he wouldn't mind. Yep, we're going to go over that then today. I'll be happy to hop on that call with him. We're going to go over some numbers, and we'll see, what his opinion is on the deal. I also put some feelers out on Facebook, ladies and gentlemen. Facebook is a wonderful resource. If you're not already on Facebook, got to get active on Facebook. And you got to bring the people that are on Facebook to come and join us in this community here on Discord, because there's just nothing like Discord. The proximity to people in real time is unprecedented. Facebook doesn't have that. But Facebook does have a lot of people that do casually, check the timeline. So you can get in front of those guys. How many of us in here have actively joined, all the real estate groups that they can on Facebook and tried to establish a presence there? I see a couple people in here, that I've seen on Facebook. I know Matt's big on Facebook too. Yes. Well, phenomenal. Glad to see everybody here today. So last week, we really got clear about our goals. And I want to ask the chat, to see how many of us feel like we're actually pushing the needle and getting closer to them. And that should be everybody in here. Everybody in here should be fired up. Everybody in here should be working towards their goals. I know Adam's feeling it today. He's got the abundance mindset going on today. He's feeling the abundance. The fruits of the labor, they're coming back, coming around. We got Sean, he's fired up. Kevin's fired up. Kevin hopped on. We got Victor's fired up. That's right. Kevin hopped on last week and let us know where he was at, that he's looking at deals. That's what this room is for, is to hop up here, talk about what you've got going on, and connect and collaborate with the people that are in this very room. Jacob is another great example. Hopped up, talked about what's going on in his business, the reality of getting started, getting your systems and processes dialed in. And he got, just by putting himself out there, he got help, from people that have built consistent businesses. And I want to also follow up with you at some point, maybe later in the week, Jacob, to see what's changed, since those conversations that you've been having with some members in the community. Absolutely correct, Mr. Dorner. Collaboration creates abundance. Carlos is fired up. Good to see everybody fired up this morning, man. We got to take this momentum into the day. Okay, so my guy, Mr. John Lim, he is a member that's been on the podcast before. I'm talking to him about this park, and I'm just going to be open, to receive some feedback. This might be critical feedback. I might be off on my numbers, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to run through it, and I'm not going to be, shy about, posting what the results look like. So I'm throwing myself in the fire today, just as many of you already have. Let's see, 11:15. We're going to give him about 10 more minutes or so. He's going to be wrapping up there. And I'm going to have all the info for him to present. We'll hop on a quick call. We'll have a guest call. I'll call him on the phone. Hopefully you all will be able to hear him here. And we'll run through the numbers. Good to see we got people fired up today, though. Mr. Paul is joining us. We're in the presence of greatness, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you all today. Good to see you all. Let's see what's going on here. Yes, sir. Let us know, ladies and gentlemen, what you guys are working on. If anybody in here has any questions, this is that opportunity to get help, and collaborate with members in the community. I know Paul's always cooking something up. Yes, sir. Scheming. Plotting and scheming. Love to see it. Also, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here, if this is your first time, definitely don't be shy. Introduce yourself in the side chat and let people know who you are, what you do, and where you do it. Because just by letting people know those three things, you'd be surprised at the opportunities you'd attract to yourself. People will just reach out. Got some interesting irons in the fire. Wonderful. Can't wait to hear about them once they're all ironed out. I got a proposal from somebody on Instagram that would like to come on and showcase some PPL leads. These would just be real calls with sellers we've never contacted before, just to show people kind of what the conversations would look like. If anybody's interested in that, that would be this Thursday. Mr. Hassan, hey John, let's do a breakdown on how to run numbers on a single-family residential property for fix and flip purposes. Absolutely. Do you have one in mind we could bring up? And feel free to hop up on the stage. Let's run through these numbers. We got some people rolling out of bed. Good to see, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see. People are getting to it. Okay, no worries, no worries. Congratulations, 6 months old. That's incredible. Little Junior, he's 7. That's awesome to see, man. No, take your time, take your time. If you want, go. Feel free to drop the address. Oh, Jazz got one. Feel free to drop the address. We can take a look at it together. We'll underwrite it here live. You'll get an opinion. And I'll show you how I actually come up with that offer so that everybody is on the same page. We're underwriting single family deals live. This is that 10K mentorship you've been waiting for. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Kevin says, I know lawyers have case studies when they are in law school. Are we able to maybe get some real life case studies in REI Rev for each strategy and mindset that goes behind it? Absolutely. Definitely take a look at the live streams that we've hosted. I mean, those are actual case studies. Welcome in, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Those people, all of our speakers that have come on and shared so generously with us, those are the people that are literally sharing their case studies. So we're going to hop in. Beautiful. We got Mr. Brownlee. Just wanted to introduce myself. Seth from Memphis. Own a small armed security company serving the Memphis area with experience in business operations, client relations, contract management. Now expanding their focus to real estate wholesaling throughout Tennessee and Georgia. Beautiful. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Goal is to build strong connections, learn the market, and create mutually beneficial opportunities in both residential and investment. Fantastic. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us this morning. And I'm happy to refer you to some people that I think you'd benefit from knowing in the Memphis market, one of which is named James Jones. He is a huge Section 8 investor out there in Memphis, Tennessee. Definitely somebody you'd want to connect with if you got a deal that you're looking to assign. You got to be really tight on the numbers, though. You know, he has a strict formula that he follows, and you got to make sure that it fits the buy box. 70% minus repairs. You can always look at as-is sales, as-is comps, and that's exactly what we're about to do here for Sherman Drive in Fayetteville. Fayetteville is a great market. Got a house out there. Let's take a look. I'm going to go on ahead and open up my favorite website, the good old Zillow. How many of us use Zillow in the chat? And we are going to walk through step by step how to do this. All right? So from Zillow, the first thing I'm going to do is plug in this address. So now that I'm here, I have this subject property in front of me. I'm duplicating this tab so that I have the subject property here, and then on this tab, I can look at the comps, okay? The first things that I'm looking at are the bed bath square footage, okay? 4.3, 2,600, just shy of 2,700 square feet, built in 1960, okay? These are the most important attributes, characteristics that this house has to share with us right now. One of the other things I like is that this is a brick home. From what we can see here, this is a brick home. So you want to compare a brick house with a brick house, just like you want to compare a house with siding here to another house with siding, right? Just stuff that comes to mind so people understand. The other thing that I want to look at immediately is just the price history, because that always tells a story, right? On this one, it looks like there's nothing available. So let's just jump right into the comps. So this is why it's good to have that second tab. You got 4 beds, 3 baths, 2,600 square feet, right? So I'm going to go here at the top, click sold, click apply, and I'm going to just tap this zoom button so that I can zoom into the exact area of where I need to be looking for comps. I'm going to show you what I'm going to be looking for, what areas I'm going to avoid. So again, a couple things we got to look at. Characteristics, keep these in mind. 4 beds, 3 baths, 2,600 square feet. So we're looking for like property. I'm going to try to remove any filters that I have here from any previous searches, right? Want to remove the filters here. And then we can do, again, 4 beds, okay? And then this is going to get us one right here. This is slightly smaller. This is definitely about 500 square feet smaller, and it's sold in 2024. I like to sort by newest, right? So obviously you want to look at, what's closest to your subject property. Okay, the subject property is right over here, and these are the properties just surrounding it. Now you don't necessarily want to cross major roads. I'm sure everybody has heard about that, but sometimes it can be kind of difficult, to get an idea of what a property is going to be worth without crossing one, right? So this is an example of one of those major roads that I probably try not to cross, right? Look at Ramsey Street. This is looks like a major road. You can see how it's highlighted a darker gray versus these other minor roads, or off roads. These are not main roads. These are like roads for neighborhoods, From here, I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. I'm going to see if there's anything on this side of the major road. And I'm going to just scroll down and try to see, is there anything I can find around the same property characteristics, and at what price did it sell, okay? I'm seeing this one, okay, 165. This one went for 165 in 2025, okay? Looks like August 8th. 4 beds, 1 bath, 2,300, almost 2,400 square feet, right? So if we go back, this is our comp. This is our subject property here. This is our comp, right? 4 beds. This one has 3 baths. This one only has 1 bath, but a similar square footage. And the year built, this one is older than our subject property, right? It's also not a brick home. Just some stuff to keep in mind. I'm actively just kind of sharing, what I'm looking at, what I'm looking for. But I still want to see what is the price history on this. Okay? So it looks like somebody bought this in 2024 for 111. Then they listed it 6 months later for 219. It went pending at 199 and ended up selling at 165. Unfortunate. I hope that it definitely seems to be a flipper that bought it, and I'll tell you why, and this is why the price history is important. If somebody bought a house and then 6 months later is turning it around for a profit, that's a flipper, right? We can take a look at the pictures here and just look at the beautiful remodel. You see photos of the beautiful new kitchen here. New appliances. I'm looking for a tag. Here we are. You see these tags? Look at these tags that are on the appliances. This is telling you, hey, these are brand new appliances. It's likely that this is a flip. If you look at the pictures, you don't see any clutter, right? It's staged. It's not even staged. It's got no furniture, nothing. But it looks brand new. Closets are empty. That sort of stuff. You want to be looking at that sort of stuff. Beautiful office space. A lot of space. Those are the things we're looking at, ladies and gentlemen. So this is a 4-1. Let's take a look at that price per square footage on the flip side. I know that it's kind of older comp, right? We're talking about 2024. But it's sometimes better to look further back than to go further out. And we'll still go further out, but just to try to get an idea of like where we got to be at. So at $47 a foot, that's what they bought it for. This one is $26.72. That puts you at $125, right? As is value. If you want to do a flip. This also depends on the condition of the property. So let's ask in the chat, what is the condition of the property? How much work needs to be done? Is it move-in ready? Where are we at with this one, Hassan? While waiting for that feedback, we're going to go back to just taking a look at some of these other comps here. Let's take a look at this one. This one is a recent sale. This sold in 2026, and it sold for $225. Okay. It looks like they bought it back in 21 for $135. It is significantly smaller in square footage than ours. It's also not a brick home. It has a carport, but it's close with the bed and bath count. It's also a newer build. Ours is 1960. This one is 1974. So now if you take the price per square footage on this one, being the ARV, let's just run those numbers real quick here. 150 times 2672, that gets you estimated ARV of 400K, right? But we don't know for sure that that is a realistic ARV because we don't have any comps to justify it. It's very speculative. So when things get really speculative, buyers get very conservative on their offers, right? So let's try to zoom out a little bit more here and see, is there anything else that we can look at that's going to help us justify where we're at on our price? Okay, we got this one. Where is this one at on the map? Okay, so it's not too far. It is crossing that major road there. Now we're getting a little bit closer. We're seeing a 4-bed, 4-bath. This is the 2,600 square foot. Let's take a look at this one. Now we got this one here. 4 beds, 4 baths. 2,500, but keep in mind, right? It's in a different area, right? There are a lot more sales, a lot more volume in this patch over here than there are on this side of the road, right? So you got to be very mindful of this stuff when you're looking at it. This one also has a garage. Something to keep in mind. But all of these are probably going to be over here in this area. And this is why it's so important to have a buyer relationship or even an agent relationship to reach out and know, because these people are so active in this market, you know, what's going on here, you know, why is there so many more properties selling in this area than over here? These are all things to consider. Absolutely, Adam's absolutely correct. We're going to go look now at what's for sale. That's also very helpful. There wasn't much in this specific area here, but we've got this one. It looks like it just got listed. 4 beds, 3 baths. They're asking $279,500 for this one. Just judging by the roof, it seems to be in an as-is type of condition. Doesn't look like it's been, you know, crazily updated. More like a 2008 type of look in some of these rooms, but it also has some of the bathrooms updated. This is an updated bathroom here. And they're asking $279,000 for this one, but this one has a 2-car garage. It is smaller than ours, though. Let's take a look and see. This one is going through foreclosure. Also has a garage. That's not really relevant. That's close to what they owe if it's foreclosed or pending foreclosure. Four beds, 2 baths, 2,000 square feet, asking $271,000. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, much more of an original condition style house. Okay. What is the seller looking to get out of this one? Cosmetics only. Okay, here we go. New roof. HVAC needs to be replaced. Okay, HVAC alone can cost $10,000. New roof necessary. I mean, if it's a whole roof that needs to get replaced, that's one thing. If it's just a couple shingles, that's another. Adam says ARV is like low twos on this. This one's tough to say, man, because there really aren't too many comps for ARV. And when there aren't really that many comps, buyers are going to get very conservative, right? So if this one went for $195, and that's 1,700, almost 1,800 square feet, that's probably the closest thing you've got. What is the seller looking to get for this one? Oh, new roof, sorry. It already has a new roof. They want $190,000. Okay. I don't know that would work even for a novation because it's really tough. Let's look. If we're going to do a novation, let's see what we're up against, right? 4 beds. This is crapping out on me here. Okay, so let's see what we're up against for a novation. Let's see. We want to see something around 2,000 square feet. I want to see everything that's above 1,500 square feet real quick. Let's look at 1,750. Okay, nothing above 1,750. We got 2 above 1,500. So this one, they're asking $249. That one is a brick home, has a garage, but it is smaller than yours. And it's on the same street, in that area there. And then I'm going to switch back over to sold real quick just to see, is there anything? Oof, 130. That's almost 2,000 square feet right here. This is probably closer. Doesn't have a garage like ours does not have a garage. Yours seems to be a 2-story. Where this is only 1, but it doesn't really look like there'd be much room upstairs. I feel like I bumped my head. Yeah, I think this was going to be a tough one, man. And I'd say that just because of the lack of comps, really. So when it's, lack of comps, you got to go really low, really, really low. Yep. Offer 100, keep it moving. It's tough to say, man, because really there are no comps. So at this point, it's really speculative. Because, you look at this one, right? It's too far away. It's just too far away. Let's see. Let's look at the newest sold homes one more time. Yeah, I think it's just too far. We got this one that sold for $270. Let's see. Let me make sure I'm zooming right on the right area here. Let's reset these filters. And let's go newest. Okay, so this is Kellogg Street and Ramsey Street. Let's see. Okay, Ramsey Street is here. Where's the 270 at? Okay, I'm guessing it's this one. Yep. 270. This one sold. Let's take a look at the price history, right? Let's see what story it tells us. Look at the type of condition that it's in, right? This is freshly remodeled. 5 beds, 2 baths, 2,100 square feet here. And year built 1974. Let's see what they bought this one for if we can. Okay, so they got this one at 140. So it's likely, they probably be in that same ballpark. Yep. So that $100,000 offer is pretty justified. There really aren't many comps, to support a higher offer, unfortunately. So that's just the reality of that one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on with Mr. Lim. Let's see how he's doing. Ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you thought, if this was helpful for you all, to understand and run these numbers, especially when it's tough. You don't have any comps. You got to be very conservative, and that's just the reality of it. I'll take a look at this one here. Sold 165. Yeah, I think 100 is probably a realistic offer zone. All right, let's give Mr. Lim a call here, see if now is a good time for him. Mr. Lim. You there? Good morning. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Phenomenal. Glad to reconnect with you, my man.
Absolutely.
I wanted to give you a quick call. Also, is it cool if we go live? I want to talk about this deal with you, run some numbers real quick, and get your opinion.
Absolutely. I'm at my desk right now. So.
Perfect. Okay, so let's go over some of these numbers. I know that you asked about the gross income and everything, so let me get that all pulled up for you. I got it organized. Okay, let's see. So for 2025, let me make sure this is the right one here. Okay, we're looking at $321,000 annual and $26,775 monthly.
Hold on a second.
Let me know if you can hear in the chat, ladies and gentlemen.
What's the annual again?
So we got an annual gross of $321,300.
Okay.
And then we got a monthly of $26,775.
For some reason, cutting out. 325, 300. You said.
So for annual is $321,300.
Okay.
And then monthly is $26,775.
Okay. What's the asking price?
On this one, I want to see if we can get $3 million for it. And I'm going to tell you why here in a second. So right now, it's got 45 homes, and it is already approved to expand for 10 more mobile homes and 20 campers.
So 10 times 20 campers, 10 times, so 30 homes times 15,000. It's $450,000 investment. Okay. So, do you know the expense ratio it's running at? How old the park-owned homes are?
I do. Let me get the expense ratio. That I want to say is running at about 25%.
Say that one more time.
The expense ratio on the park is running at about 25%.
That's crazy. For that many park-owned homes, you're probably closer to like a 40% expense ratio.
Okay.
And you're asking for you think the seller's asking $3 million, or what is the seller asking?
The seller's asking for 2.45.
That's it?
Yep.
On a 25% expense ratio, they're asking, they think it's going to be a 10 cap, but it's actually closer to a 4. So it's probably closer to a 7.8 cap based on the numbers you just gave me. You need to be closer to like 1.9 to be DSCR ready to go. Right now with the DSCR ratio, you're basically break even. Your mortgage at let's say 875, 20% down is going to be around $16,000 a month, and you're netting around $16,000 a month. So you're basically break even.
Okay. So where do we have to be at for this to work?
1.9.
1.9. Okay.
That's like bare minimum, right? Because think about it this way, right? The park-owned homes are, you don't know what the average age is, right? Let's just say they're 30 years old, right? And he's maintaining them by putting like $5,000 to $30,000 just to like fix it up and send it off. The maintenance costs on those, the park-owned income, let's just say simple numbers, if they're charging $1,000, they're charging $500 a lot rent, $500 park-owned homes. That additional $500, banks aren't including. They only look at the $500. So if you do, how many spaces is it again?
45 are there now.
45 times 500. It's actually 22,000 gross. Times that by 0.4. It's 10.6. 500 times 45 times 0.6. It's 13,000 gross. Times that by 12. Is 162 net. So gross income, let me say 500 times 45 times that by 12. It's 270. So 162. So you're at a 6 cap is where it actually is going to be penciling out. So that means you need to be ideally for a DSCR 1.6.
And that's to the end buyer.
No, that's, yes. Well, that's to the seller.
Okay, 1.6 to the buyer and 1.9 exit.
No, 1.6 to the seller, and then you probably put 100,000 on it, and then get it sold for 1.7.
Okay. Do buyers care at all about the opportunity to expand? I mean, there's plenty of room.
Because it's still going to take them $500,000 to get it going. So they might put like an extra $100,000, maybe $200,000 to it, depending on their capabilities, But they're not gonna pay for it up front, and sellers are probably gonna want it up front.
Okay. And I mean, do you think there are any buyers that will look at what the seller is reporting? Because I mean, they passed all the financials, right? And that's where their expenses are at. And I'm aware of you want to look at 50% for park-owned homes and 35% for the tenant-owned homes. But I mean, if the recorded expenses are lower than that, I mean, are they going to care, or they just run their numbers and that's it?
I mean, they're going to care based on like. For mobile home parks, ideally with park owned, you don't go under, like, investors don't usually go under 15%, or no, like 40%. Like 35 is like tenant owned, like paved roads, like it's like immaculate, like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Because all these investment firms that are doing that, their operational costs, like when you're owner occupied and owner managed, you can get your expenses between 25 to 30% and stay within that range, because they're doing all the work, right?
Right.
So you add 10% from property management. So let's just say you do it at 25. That means you're at 35, right?
Right.
And you add another 3 to 5% for like slippage, right? Meaning, if I send a command to this property management company, go do it today, right? They're not going to go do it today. They're going to go do it when their schedule is available to go do it today. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So there's operational slippage between owner and investor, right? they try to mitigate that as quickly as possible. Obviously, how many spaces is it total?
It's 45. It's 100% occupied.
Okay. You gotta figure out how many park owned homes there are, and then do the math that way. So that's why I was saying just $500 is typical, right? Just trying to toss. I'm not saying that.
I got you. There are 26 homes that are park owned.
How much are they making on average? Probably like $1,200 to $900.
Let me see. Okay. So I think it might even be below. So average 764 for the park owned homes.
764 average.
Yes,
Times that
average.
by 26.
Yes.
So it's 19,000 times that by 0.5. So $9,000, and then 26. So let's just say, how many tenant-owned homes?
Let's see.
So 26 minus 45, right? You said
Right.
minus 45. That's 19. And how much is the average park lot rent?
Let me get that. I believe it's 350, but let me double check here.
Yeah, that's fine.
325. 325.
19 times 325. 19 times 325, 6,100 times that by point. Let's say 6.5 is 35%. That's 4,000 plus 9,932. So your net should be around 13,945 times that by 12, 164. Yeah, I was right. 162. I was $5,000 off. You're still in the same price range.
Okay, so you're saying we got to get it then below 1.6.
I mean, ideally, yeah.
Okay.
So you're like $800,000 off right now, $830.
Okay.
Is there seller financing available or no?
That's not off the table, but I don't know if that's going to make the most sense for his situation. He's trying to do a 1031.
Yeah, but he won't take 1030. I mean, how quickly is he trying to move this?
He's not in any sort of real rush, but he's definitely tired landlord. He doesn't want to be doing this anymore. Just had a kid, so he wants to spend more time with his kid.
Yeah, then tell him to seller finance it, and then he doesn't have to worry about it. He just collects checks, literally, because he becomes the bank.
Okay, what would the offer be for seller finance?
Just depends on how much he wants down. I mean, he's asking 2.4, right?
Right.
So if you give him, you have basically.
Paul says he suggests 1.6 with seller financing in decent terms and could get him his number in 5+ years. It would take about 5 to 8 years to get his magic number, and then you can stabilize and balloon him out probably. But the only issue with that, I think, Paul, is the park's already stabilized. It's 100% occupied. You know, you
Yeah,
might.
it's gonna be selling off the homes is gonna be your best.
And he mentioned
But
that actually in the call. He says that there is a company he's aware of that will finance the homes to the people living there.
yeah, that's pretty standard. I mean, if he's looking for 2.4, you have basically you can do two options with the down payment, right? It's ultimately right now I tossed it into my calculator. If you did 2.4 with 500,000 additional, 2.4 with 750 additional, you can do 5% down or 10% down. If you did that at just like let's just say for now 0%, right? Your debt service after your debt service, you have about 5,700 with 5% down and 5,500 with 10% down. That's basically 57.7% NOI and then 59.3% NOI, which is solid, right? Because that gives you a 1.6 DSCR ratio, 1.7 DSCR ratio. But if he's like, I want interest, essentially you have to show him that, hey, we are paying your interest. We're just adding the $500,000, $750,000. That's how we're able to get to your purchase price. Right, but if you need to be at 1.6, I mean, cash number would be 1.6.
Okay.
But that's nearly impossible because you're basically at a 9 cap, right? 9.8 cap. That's like the absolute bottom before you get under your DSCR like ratio type, you know?
Okay, he said he's open to doing a carry like that, right? But he'd still be getting, let's say 1.6 cash, at closing, and that's where we go get the loan, correct? And then,
No, his the down payment would be either 5 or 10% depending on his situation. On the if he wants the 2 point like if he wants like the 2.45.
okay.
One second. I mean, essentially, you can give him around 150,000 closing or 320 closing. 7-year balloon on both of them, or you can amortize it by 40 years and still make it work. Ideally, you would want to amortize it over 40 years. But give him a 7-year balloon because that gives your debt service is 44%, 43% respectively.
Okay.
Like if I can give you 2.9, right, and you take 5% down, or I can give you 3.2 and take 10% down, or vice versa. I mean, sorry.
So how does that work then? If you're offering 3.2 at 5% down,
With a 40-year amortization, 7-year balloon, that means his monthly payment is $6,333. And then if he did 2.9 with 10% down, 40-year amortization, his debt service is $5,031 a month. So he can get the bigger number, right?
right?
But he's getting less down, and you're just amortizing it over 40 years to get him like $6,300 a month.
And there's a 7-year balloon.
A 7-year balloon, yeah.
Okay. And then what does the dispo look like to an end buyer? Or is it something that we buy ourselves?
If that's the case, I'm your end buyer for it,
Okay. So what's the down? Okay, so 2.9, 10 down, that's 290.
295, yeah.
295.
Like exact numbers, I can send you this into an email so you don't have to write it all down.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. That'd be helpful.
Yeah. So ultimately, you just got to figure out what he wants down. If he's willing to do, basically, essentially, it's a 0% interest, but we're ballooning all the interest, right? So it's like $500,000 interest or $750,000 interest. So I would start with that. If he wants to cash out is going to be 1.6. That's like top.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to explain to him, how I obviously came to these numbers,
Yeah.
um, which is not impossible. I'll definitely have that conversation with him. Obviously, can't make any
Yeah.
guarantees because the cash number is lower. I don't know if he's gonna go for that, or if he's gonna
Yeah, he's
entertain.
not. I mean, even at the 270 gross, right? I mean, even at 320 gross, it's like I don't trust that 320, to be honest, because I don't know. I really don't know the age of the homes. That's really
Well,
what's
I know what the age of the homes are. I mean, the oldest home is around 1980.
okay. That's not bad.
Yeah. Um, Let me pull up the rest because I keep.
I mean, if his gross numbers is at 320 and we do a 40% expense ratio, his asking price is 2.4, 2.45. It's expensive. It's 7 cap. I mean, it's not expensive, but it's
But you don't
based on
think
his
that any
320.
buyers will be interested in the pro forma of really? I understand they're going to have to bring more money to the table, but you don't think that anybody would be interested in the fact that the park has a lot of room to expand and it's already been approved for 30 more lots?
It does. I mean, again, it's someone would have to come in with $3 million then, right? That's not more than that. So they would have to come in with 2.4, right? Assignment fee, 100K. Let's say, right? Probably get like 154 maybe. Is my gut feeling. 2.4 million times 0.03, 73. Yeah, so 70, 100K is a little bit over 3% on something, a deal of this size. And then on top of that, they're gonna have to put 450 in it, right? That construction loan, or if they're bringing cash or investors, that's 12% interest on 450 for 12 months, 18 months. If he's willing to defer until we build out for 12 months, that helps out too, because then all you're doing is you're taking the money from the park, you're paying down the debt or the interest only for the 450, right? For 12 or 18 months, get that built out and start infilling, right?
Okay.
I don't know the MSA, so I can't really speak on the MSA. I don't know if it's rural or if it's near a city or major city, tertiary market. So I'm just kind of spitballing what I would see, right? So then
I
someone
mean, the
with
demand's
2
obviously there, right? If the park's full today.
sure. Where is this at?
This is outside of.
Oh yeah. That's solid. I mean, anything in Pennsylvania is usually pretty good. There's usually a ton of buyers for it.
Yeah.
So basically, you would think someone has to come up with basically 2.4 times 0.06. 2.4 times 0.06 plus 2.4 times 0.06 plus 100,000. It's 2.6 plus 450. I mean, 3.1 million.
3.1 million
All in.
all in.
Yeah. And
So
then
then
they got to
we.
figure out the cash on cash return and all that fun stuff. But I mean, it's not a bad deal because the development has been already approved, right?
Right,
Is
that's
it
the
city water,
selling
city
point.
sewer?
So it is on a wastewater treatment, and
Okay,
he
that's
does.
you just knocked out like 70% of buyers.
I understand that, but I mean, he does. He is offering to manage it. That he has a whole wastewater management company. He's offering to manage it at $750 a month.
Seems like a lot.
Really?
Yeah. Because I think the park I'm going down in Louisiana has 276 sites and we're only paying like 350, and it's like an hour outside of New Orleans. All they do is come in and test it once a month.
Okay.
They just need to make sure it's not like leaking and stuff like that. Is it wastewater treatment and well water? I'm guessing it sounds like.
Yeah, private well.
Yeah. So overall buyer institutional is not going to buy wastewater treatment. Some of the larger larger guys still won't mess with wastewater treatment. I mean, let's say out of 100 buyers, right? You just, because it's wastewater treatment, 75 of them are done. They're out immediately because it's wastewater treatment. So out of those 25 buyers, you got to think who has 3.1 million cash or 2.4 cash, and then 450 to develop, and then the structure of the deal needs to be like, okay, is he willing to defer for 12 months so that someone can come in with 450 cash, right, to develop, pay the fee? So they need about 600,000 cash to get the deal situated, you know.
Okay.
So it's a lot less of a lift if they do it that way, but ultimately it's going to be like, I mean, when's the last time they raised rents?
It's been a while. I mean, I think it's severely under market, right? I mean, just in that area, I think it's probably closer to 450 would be what you could push it to.
Sure.
So, I mean, there are obviously ways, that you can you could force the appreciation day one, right? If your park is charging 325 right now, you already got 45 lots there already, and you raise that from 325. How many are tenant-owned homes? Just 19, correct?
19, yep.
So 19, 325 minus 450 is 125.
I mean, there's definitely something there, I would say, but ultimately it's going to come down to the structure of the deal of what is the seller willing to take at close, right? If he's truly done, right, then you could probably bump up the down payment a little bit higher and make it work, right? Because again, he's coming in. A buyer's going to come in at 450, right? So let's just say development, right? Plus the 160, plus let's just say 100,000. That's 710 plus closing costs, which is let's say 125. They're coming in cash 835.
Okay.
Right, on a $3 million deal. It's not bad.
It's almost 30%.
Yeah.
Pardon me. You don't think somebody could go get a loan and put 25% down?
Yes.
On the $3 million?
No. I mean, for a mobile home park, yeah. Yes, but again, then your DSCR is way down.
Well, let's run those numbers, right? Because I had it pulled up.
Yeah, so I mean that's why I was saying your DSCR is going to be low because it's a 7 cap. Let's just say 7.7 or 2.45, right? At a, let's just say commercial interest rate right now is 8.75 with 25% down, 25-year amortization. Your DSCR right now at 2.45 is $16,162 a month. Your net cash flow is $16,000 a month. You're negative $162 a month. You're over leveraged. That's why I was saying your cash number for DSCR number is going to be 1.6.
Okay. So I think, and you tell me because obviously you got experience working these deals more than I do, but I think number one, the first hurdle is the buyer, right? The buyer profile. We got to find the right buyer. So it's not going to be institutional because they don't want to do anything with private wastewater.
No, before you're if you structure a seller financing deal, the seller financing deal with these type of numbers, then you'll definitely find a buyer. There's gonna be a lot of tire kickers. There's gonna be a lot of like, oh, I got a buyer. I mean.
Okay.
Structurally, the deal makes sense. It's going to be waiting for the seller to figure out if they want money now to do a 1031, if they really are a tire landlord, and if they're willing to take 5, 10, 15, 20% down, you know what I mean, on a higher number, because the price is too high. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay. Let me see. Let me run some numbers real quick with you. At 450. For lot rent. Do you think that that's unrealistic?
I mean, it's not unrealistic, but you're going from 325 divided by 450. You're increasing
let's go to 400.
28% day one, right?
Right.
You might lose 5%. more than likely they'll gripe and bitch and moan, and you know it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Also, if you know what I'm saying, you don't want to be a landlord that's going to come in and just all of a sudden just jack it up. You know, with a 450 minus 325, $125. I mean, a lot of these people are a static income. You know what I'm saying? That's
right.
so.
Well, if we push it to 400, from 325, right?
Yeah, that's more doable. Like, if you say, hey, this is what I'm going to do, this is the improvements I'm going to make, in 2 years, can you do 125? Yeah. If you do 75 now, $50 later, and then do a 3% bump like year over year.
Yeah.
That's kind of how. So you essentially are 2 years into this, right? That's not including the 30 spaces that you're going to spend money in infill as well. I mean, I would start selling those lots right away, and being like, do you want to pre-deposit, whatever. Because it's saying it's only 10 mobile homes, right? And then 20, can that all be 30 mobile homes? Or does it have to be RV sites too?
I'm going to double check, but what he told me is it's approved for 10 more mobile homes and 20 more campers.
Yeah, then you're running, okay, so you're only adding 10 stabilized income. Because you don't know the occupancy, then you have to run your ADRs and your occupancy on your month-to-months, or how you're going to do that. So you can probably charge a little bit more with RVs, but typically it's a little less.
Okay.
So you can do it month to month. Do that whole.
I still think that there's room, for number one, to raise the rents. It doesn't have to be a crazy jump. Just $75. I don't think that's gonna kill anyone. To raise it to $400.
Yeah.
Pardon me. Let me deny this call real quick. I don't know who this is. Call you back. Okay. And then let's look at what that would do for the park's performance, right? So.
Well, I mean, at that point, I would have to put it into my model. But I'm just telling you that structure-wise right now, I mean, there's something there. Ultimately, there's just a lot of variables in regards to the seller. Like, we could do this all day and be like, okay, well, this is the best scenario for an investor. And then if the seller goes, I want 50% down, I'm not taking anything less.
Yeah.
Yours and my conversation is a complete giant waste of time. You know what I mean?
I understand. So, what do you think ultimately this just boils down to finding the right buyer?
No, it's finding out if the seller's willing to do seller financing.
Okay, I know he's open to it, but we got to see what terms he'll accept.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's going to be, what does the seller want first? And then can we back a buyer into that? If we can't, then then this is basically what he's already said, that he wants to do a 1031. Okay. Why? Because he doesn't get out of it something easier? Sure. If he's willing to manage it, awesome. Cool. Then all we need to do is to figure out how much of that 1031 money he needs right now. Does he have something in line? Does he have 6 months to go find that? You said that he already had a kid, so
right.
Is he really going to sit there and go be like, oh, the deal breaks down because he's like, I don't know if I want to really do that. I don't want to deal with this. I'm already comfortable doing this. I'm making $300,000 a year at 25%. I mean, 327 times 0.75. I mean, he's clearing 245 right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, basically, with a new kid, you want me to take a haircut? That's the problem I always run into,
I understand. So you don't think that if, we find the right person, they could...
That's easy. Don't worry about the buyer. The buyer portion is you make a post in your groups and everything, you'll have people out of the woodworks. It's the structure of the deal that's going to make sense.
Okay. But you don't think that anybody would find the structure of the current deal to make sense?
I mean, no one's paying. It's the wastewater treatment it's a big no-no. It's a 7 cap with wastewater treatment. Just to give you transparency on my deal, I'm buying the 270 unit in Louisiana
Uh-huh.
at a, what is it? It's doing 1.7, 850 divided by. I'm buying that at a 15 cap.
Phenomenal.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, this is a 7 cap. It's like half, and it's half, in almost less quarter of the size. But it's in a good area, you know. It's in Pennsylvania, so depending on what part of Pennsylvania, I don't know, but
Okay.
so I would say your first thing is figure out what the structure of the seller, what's like the absolute max, and we can work our way. We can jump on another call and work our way backwards from that. But without that, you're just, you're grasping at straws, because I can calculate anything for you within seconds right now because I have my underwriting calculator up,
Right.
But if he says one thing, this entire thing is blown up. So
Okay. Well, let me see. I'm gonna get back on with him today, and I can review what he'd be willing to carry.
yeah.
If he says that he'll take,
If it's under 25% of the 2.4 million, then it's a decent deal. If it's more than 25%, then it gets a little dicey. Because again, 2.45, right, plus 2.45 times 0.25 is $600,000. So again, if we go 600 plus the 450 of the development, that means that the buyer's coming in with $1 million cash, roughly spent, hard money or whatever, right?
Okay.
That's plus 100,000, plus 125 for closing. The buyer's coming in with 1.2 million. So, do they want to spend 1.2 on a $3 million park or 2.4 million? That's almost 50% cash. I don't think that cash on cash return is good on a 48 unit park that he has to wait 12 months for.
Okay. And for the, pardon me, the extension, right? How are you coming up with the budget for that?
$15,000 a space on average
Okay.
to develop. I mean, you could probably do it for a little less if you know somebody, but on average, anywhere between 10 to 15,000 is development for a mobile home park space. RV park space, same thing.
Okay. And that's just laying the foundation and hookups, or what?
Digging, concrete, depending on if they have whatever, attaching to all electrical, sewer, all of it.
Okay. Okay. Well, I appreciate the time, John.
Yeah, of course.
Let me get back with him, and then I'll keep you updated on what I can get here. But you're saying 1.6 to the end buyer, correct? For DSCR, that's cash, so I got to get it below that to make an assignment. And then you're saying
No, wait, let me clarify everything.
Okay.
Everything we just talked about is strictly a seller financing situation up to this point, right? If the guy wants to do a 1031 and you need to offer something that's going to make sense, and someone's going to walk in cash, 1.65 is kind of like the absolute bottom, or let's say absolute top for someone, what someone would pay. What they would pay based on what you and I discussed, probably 1.4, 1.2. You'll probably get offers at 1.2-ish range, right? Then they're going to say, oh, we got to put in 400,000, this and that, all of that nonsense, all that jazz.
Okay.
So 1.6 is like the absolute top of what you can pay for in cash.
Okay.
So you have to be significantly less than that.
I got you. And then I'll go over and get the other terms, for what it looks like at 2.9 and
2.5, 2.9, 3.2.
3.2. Okay. All right.
I'll send you what do you call? Give me a second. Option A, option B. Yeah, 4-year amortization. Text me your email, and then I'll send you the two situations that we just discussed.
Perfect.
Okay.
Awesome. Again, I really appreciate you, John.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Anytime.
You take care.
You too, man.
Talk to you soon.
See you, bye.
Bye. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Your network is your net worth. So he's saying that I got to get it below. I'm just gonna review the transcript. Just to get a non-biased opinion, on how these numbers can work. Obviously, it seems though, for cash, it's going to be tight or even impossible. Though I still find it difficult to believe that if the seller is reporting, let's say 245,000 net after expenses per year, that nobody could look at those expenses and recognize that's where the park is at today. That's also kind of what prompts me to think. And of course, I'm still very new at this, right? So I may be thrown off the bull here, right? But I'm willing to throw myself in the fire and give it my best shot, put my best foot forward. I'm still hesitant to believe that there is not a scenario where there is a perfect buyer for something like this, especially with what I've been looking at that's listed on market for sale on sites like Crexy. These guys are selling property stabilized day one around an 8 cap with a pro forma, to get it above 10, and those do sell. I've also reached out. I've talked to multiple brokers, that kind of tell me the same thing. So I don't know if it's really a situation where the numbers don't make sense, or if there's a very niche or a very specific buyer that's going to buy something like this, and that's going to be the biggest hurdle. So regardless, I'm still open. Obviously, I'm never going to act like I got it all figured out, but I'm going to definitely, get as many perspectives as possible and keep, put in my best foot forward. And if I got to go back to the seller, we got to renegotiate. So be it, right? We can renegotiate. But he's a pretty cool guy overall. Pretty chill seller. So I don't think that, if I bring him and I present him, how I'm coming up with this, that it should work. Mr. Riley, you only need one buyer to close, but a deal should be wanted by more than one buyer. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. So that's why I think we got to talk to a couple people, to get a few different perspectives, right? So that, I don't just take one perspective as the end all be all. Because like we're seeing, some of these properties on Crexy, bro, they sell them at, let's say, they have them listed, super low. I talked to one guy, he sold it at an 8 with the pro forma to get it to a 12, a 10 or 12, right? And so that's kind of where, it depends on the buyer and what they see, what they think is possible. And those people, they're willing to put in the work, to get it there. And if it's already approved, for the expansion, I think that there is something there. But it just depends. You got to get in front of the right people. But I definitely appreciate everybody for coming to join us. Hopefully these calls have been helpful. We underwrote both a single-family house and a commercial deal. Shout out to Mr. John Lim on Instagram. Let me see if I have his name on here, the John Lim. I'll drop his Instagram in case anybody wants to keep up with John. Instagram.com/thejohnlim. That's John. That's the guy that was on the phone with us. And if you drop a follow to John, definitely let him know that REI Rev sent you. Appreciate you all, ladies and gentlemen. Have a fantastic day today, and let's crush it. Catch you in the next one.